2x2 formation. Road change now, we go racing for the first time this season. 3 hours of GT action, it's go.
This is very tight as they come down. Group of cars coming in, this has all got trouble written all over it. This is these 3 cars.
Drop downhill there, head towards the Aqua Minerale. Imola, of course. There's another one off through the gravel. As wide as possible as they drop downhill, putting that from the inside line. Yes, he did. Through he goes.
Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome along to round 6 of season 8 here with Apex Online Racing. This is tier 2 in the GT3 leagues, and we are at Suzuka. So get ready for some wild, tight racing, lots of corners, a horrifying first set of corners. So hopefully we can get off to a better start than tier 1 last night. I am once again joined by Cardinal Smith. Say good evening, Cardinal.
Good evening, Cardinal, and great to be here, Timasorus. Sorry I did it to you again, but it's a tradition at this stage. Really excited about this Suzuka race tonight, especially as it is a night race.
Yeah, I teed you up for it, to be fair. I can't really blame you for giving me a bit of grief. I teed you up for that one. But yeah, night race, so it's going to be interesting to see how people get on. It's going to be very difficult working out if that's a back marker or a... or someone you need to be defending from in your mirrors. So it'd be interesting to see how quickly people abide to blue flags. Hopefully they should realise it rather than keep people held up for too long. But just in the free practice at the moment, so no real sort of major action going on. The server will be reset very soon, so most people now pouring into the pits. Is there anyone actually out on track? Good deal, yes.
So in terms of tonight, we are expecting what kind of cars are we expecting to do well tonight? For in practice so far, it looks like Astons and Bentleys are looking pretty strong. Bruno Cadil here down in 9th at the moment, 7/10 off the top.
I'm really slightly worried that my screen looks different to yours because I'm seeing Bentley followed by 3 McLarens.
3 McLarens. Okay, well, you know what? This is a lesson in keeping up with practice because last time I checked the standings, those McLarens have definitely come into their own now. My goodness me. Yeah, we have Shilabanov up there in 2nd and his McLaren crew backing him up there. Okay, those McLarens have been strong this season in Tier 2.
Yeah, they really have, to be fair. It's a car that I think previous to updates was quite a difficult one to drive, and I do believe I might not have the right thing on screen. That's what I want. Nope. That one? That's the one I want. Sorry to everybody, I realised I didn't have the sector times up on the screen. Forgive me, for I'm only human. Or not, I'd understand if you don't.
All forgiven. It was interesting, just as you were doing that, Matt Whitburn shot up the leaderboard just at the end there, in to add another McLaren to the mix to compound my erroneous statement earlier. Oh, I love this. Look at these cars opening up into the start of qualifying. 15 minutes to go and all the lights on. This track looking amazing at this time.
And I just noticed our first man out on track is fan favourite Meerveld.
Vince van Meerveld. He is coming on strong in the championship. Now 4th, but obviously after Zandvoort finished 8th. But I think we was in a big pack of cars with some hard racing. Really caught up with Bogoroditsky in 3rd, and then with a good chance tonight.
Yes,
what's the point? 9 points behind, yeah.
It's a reasonably similar circuit in terms of sort of drivability, I think. It's quite tight. There's not a massive amount of places to overtake, or it's quite easy to defend. I always feel like the kind of places you can overtake, if you're switched on, you can defend pretty well here. So it'd be interesting to see how cleanly everyone gets through the pack at the start. So we're hoping for a reasonably clean race. But again, night time does make it a little bit of a wild card, similar to wet weather.
So, and you know what? You touched on a couple of things there. So last time out, qualifying completely wet at Zandvoort before drying up 15-20 minutes of the race. This time, dry, nice here in Japan, near Suzuka City, but night. We're going to have colder track, and some of the cars didn't like that last time round in the wet. How are they going to cope with this tonight? You mentioned Zandvoort as a similar track. I didn't know this until earlier on today, but this track was actually partly designed by the creator of the Zandvoort track back in 1961.
Really? Well,
So,
that kind of explains it then.
You've literally described it as similar to Zandvoort out of all the tracks in the world, and the way it behaves and the difficulty to overtake and easier to defend, and there you go.
Well, there you go. Clearly I just knew in my bones I could feel that somehow. So, a couple of flying laps coming in now. Well, people are on their first flying lap now. So Meerveld's going to be our first man across the line. So we're going to stick with him for a little bit longer, just so we can see what the sort of the benchmark's going to be. Going to be interesting to see. I can't remember what circuit it was. I think it was Mazzano, where we noticed the Bentleys took a little bit longer to switch their tyres on. And this is obviously quite a cold race, 17 degrees ambient, and that's the track temperature as well. So it'll be interesting to see if the Bentleys can put together a decent lap in this colder climate. So they're going to have to carry more fuel if they're going to do more laps to get the tyres warm. And then the track's going to be busier, you're going to be more mixed in with people on out laps and flying laps. So you sort of run a bit of a risk if you can't put in a decent time in, let's say, 3rd lap here. Is probably going to be your best time. And there's yellow flags flying somewhere as well. I'm not sure. Well, oh, they're green. They're back to green now, so that's not too bad. But yeah, it's going to be interesting stuff, because actually it looks like there's someone on a blue lap mid pack, but it's just a constant stream now as they head down to 130R.
It's sure 130R. Yep, lovely use of coordinates. If these first laps aren't going to mean too much, these tires will still be cold as they go through the last round, the final curve. Meerveld into the start-finish straight. He'll be setting the benchmark for the rest of the field now. Everyone else will have a nice toe behind, but these tires will not be up to speed yet. The tires will just keep tumbling as we go. And there we go. 2 minutes 2 is our first time of the night. And there's some way to go there. We will definitely be into the 159s.
Oh, I think so. I think we're hopefully going to get into the... oh, there you go. Meerveld down now. That's Steinhauser. Steinhauser did really well early in the season. What race was that? That might have been... I think he was our racer of the day when it was Kai Lamy. I believe he had an absolute stonking race and came up. I have to double check on the overall results for that one. But be interested to see if he can have another good race here.
You're absolutely right. Second place in Kyalami, just behind Ryan Renoir. Another person in that pack who had a good result at Kyalami was Rodriguez, the Spaniard, currently 14th in the championship. Those three, Renoir, Rodriguez, and Steinheiser, are 13th, 14th, and 15th in the championship, separated by a few points. And they haven't replicated the same form they had in that first race, but they've all looked good in practice. So are we going to see the return of those three up near the front end of the field? Rodriguez hits the fastest lap of the race, just as I say that. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, he does. Oh, there you go. That's a decent chunk as well. That's a 159.5, just shy of a 159.6, but that's a decent jump straight away. Best part of, 0.4 of a second up already.
I wonder how much of that is down to those Aston Martins maybe proving that they can get temperature into the tyres earlier and faster than the other cars. Maybe have an advantage early on in the race. I still expect those McLarens to come back strong though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually know if it's the mid-engines or the front-engine cars. Oh, climbs up into 6th place in the one of the Porsches, and actually, I think the only who's at this roof in Carnival 297 in one of the Lamborghinis has put a decent time. Bit of a change up at the top again. But no one's managed to. Oh, Nogueira, sorry, he's up to the top now. Very, very similar time, a 159.571. So nothing between them, nothing at all between those two. But actually, looking at it, Steinhauser down to 7th now and still dropping.
We're starting to see the times tumble now. Bogoroditsky up into 4th in his Ferrari. Quick shout out to Alexander Irish in the chat. Good to see you. Sorry to see you're not racing right now. And HT, much love to you too.
Oh, I realised I didn't actually shout out to Matthias Dryborg as well, who's in the chat, wishing everyone to have a good race.
We certainly will. We certainly will.
So Nogueira, that's the one. Nogueira into the pits. So whether he wants to have a bit of a change of setup, or maybe that was a safe lap for him, the 159. Oh, Rodriguez,
Wow.
159.3. No,
Very quick.
Yeah, no messing around from him there. Do you think we're going to see a 158? Do you reckon we're going to see one?
Well, a 158 is a very fast time. So in our tier 1, our elite tier in AOR, only 7 drivers managed a 158 last night in the same circuit. So it's a big ask. If anyone here can do a 158, they are... I don't want to say they're tier 1 ready.
But they're getting there.
Yeah, because I'll undoubtedly curse them and they'll have a horrible accident and it'll be a disaster and my fault.
It's alright. We'd forgive you. We wouldn't be too angry at you. We'd understand.
Van Merveld, I'm going to distract it. Van Merveld does a fast time, just 3/10 off the lead, and pits. And looks maybe a change of tyres coming straight out again.
Yeah, so I do wonder how much fuel some of these guys are running. So the temperature's got to be sort of a factor you've got to think of. Or they might just be running slightly more closed brake ducts just in an attempt to get the tyres hotter quicker. Obviously knowing they're not going to have to do a long stint. Maybe just to get the tyres up to temp a little bit quicker. But
You're actually right. There was talk of closing the brake ducts, keep the tyres warmer. But of course that's going to wear down the tyres faster. And as we count down with 6 minutes left of qualifying, these drivers, these pilots pitting now, this is going to be their last stint of this race. The track's coming to them, things are warming up, but they'll have to still get the heat back into those new tyres. And let's see, can we get any more drivers into the 159? We've got 8 drivers so far.
Let's see, Rodriguez, who is... Nogueira. God, I need to... Someone come and slap me. He is... he's currently running in 2nd place, but he's come across some traffic, so I'm not sure it's going to be a particularly fast lap this time round. People giving way, but, you know, there's limits to it. He Looked like he had to get on the brakes a little bit earlier than he wanted to and wasn't quite able to exit the hairpin as he wanted. And he's currently being hounded by car number 37, who is car number
Bogoroditsky.
Yeah, it's gone flying past. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right
it's
to call it out. It's taking him before the just before that fast sweeping left-hander. What's that called? 130R.
If someone in the chat can tell us why it's 200R and 130R, we'd love to know, because we're presuming it's the angle of the turn, but why they both are? Because one's a left and one's a right-hand turn. So if someone can tell us, I'll give you a shout out, even though we usually shout out everyone anyway, but we'll really give you a shout out.
An extra special shout out. We were discussing this before, and it was Reg from the tier 1 commentator from last night was talking about, was this to do with the angles, and he wasn't too sure. So maybe someone in the tier 2 chat tonight knows. The question's out there now. So Bogoroditsky is on another lap now, but he's behind Jay Fang and Muscat. Is he going to overtake these guys around these tight corners? I mean, surely this is impacting not only his own lap, but soon to be Jay Fang's lap. He's currently in 6th. Because I am looking back, and Jay Fang has backed out. He had a bad corner and has let him past. Nagura behind, though, has left space after Bogoroditsky passed him, and given himself enough space to try and set a fast lap now, as we're into the last 3.5 minutes, of course.
Yeah, I think when we were watching Bogoroditsky go past, I'm pretty sure I saw Nagara tap the brakes once or twice, just to give himself a little bit of space. So, Pitchik up to 3rd as well now. I don't think he's been there the entire time, I'm pretty sure. He'll be pleased with that.
Pitchik 2nd in practice behind Shalabanov. So, coming good at the end of practice and coming good at the end of qualifying. That Bentley, as we mentioned, maybe the tyres are getting with them now, and we're starting to see the big times coming. Pitchik is important. He has a good result here. He is chasing Shalabanov for that championship lead.
Well, I'm going to say a man that hasn't been with us from the very beginning, but has done some impressive racing for the last 3 races in a row. Caracas up into pole position with a 1:59.2. And like you said, the McLarens are coming. They are really going to be coming up on this race. And Caracas, obviously, we saw him at Nürburgring run out of fuel. I think he was in 5th place and then dropped down to, I think, 13th. So had a bit of a bad luck on that one. Had to go the extra lap. But then last time... Irish. Hang on, Irish has just come in. Yeah, 130R is just the angle of the corner. And then Irish has said, pretty sure the R just stands for radius. Yeah, that probably makes sense.
Radius. Not right. Okay, because it's a left turn. We were confused.
Yeah.
Why
yeah.
R?
There we go. Irish. 1. How come you're not racing, buddy? Oh, yeah, and then Saber also saying it's actually the radius of the corner. So, yeah, there we go. It's been confirmed.
Tier 2 chat greater than Tier 1 chat.
Yeah. First the worst, second the best. Third the one with the hairy chest.
Edge before young... No.
Yeah.
Anyway, Grantas, Caracas, the Lithuanian, won the last time out. Redemption for what happened when he ran out of fuel in Germany.
We think he can do it again here. So he's had a 30. Well, he's not raced in the first 3 races. Then he had He had a do not start, or did not start for race 3. Then he had 13th place, obviously at Nürburgring. Then he had 1st place last time round at Zandvoort. It's a similar circuit. Is he going to be able to do it again?
Well, you know what? Another 100 points would he would take that nicely, because he would jump from. Excuse me. Where would he jump from? 16th. 235 would take him right up to 6th. I'd say he'd fancy it. He seems to like the technical, twisty circuits with limited grip. Seems to be his cup of tea.
And a quick update with just under 14 seconds left. Quick update from Irish. Called in sick today. He's health reasons he's pulled out. So hope you get well hope you get ready for next week. Fingers crossed, and hope you're not too unwell. Does take
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it does take a lot out of you. To be fair, sim racing, you wouldn't think it, but it really does. If you're not feeling 100%, it is hard to sit there and concentrate for a full hour of racing, essentially, isn't it? So, plus your 15 minutes of quali.
Timasorus, you're absolutely right. I had the vaccine for that little bug going around, and I didn't feel great after a while, and there was no way I could race at tier 10 level. Never mind, elite tier 2 level. Just because Rodriguez is 2/10 up on this lap, that would take him way into pole. But Caracas is also a 10th up in his time, and Bogoroditsky also a 10th up. Times are about to tumble if these guys can finish their laps.
A little bit further down, I'm just looking as well. Jay Fang 0.2 up and Jonathan Watts 0.4 up. So that's 9th and 10th respectively.
If Jonathan Watts gets that 0.4, that is the lead. That is pole position. There's not a lot between these guys. Caracas does go faster.
And Rodriguez does it. A 58. We got into the 58s. We've got one. There we go. We knew it was possible.
Jonathan Watts around the last corner. Coming across the line. This could be a big time. He's currently 10th.
With the third. Ooh, at the last minute as well. Gets himself up on row 3. That's a strong effort, isn't it?
That was a fantastic lap. He was green the whole way around the track. Great effort from Jonathan Watts.
Just trying to see
in the Mercedes.
Who is this? Oh, the timing board has just disappeared for me, so I'm not sure where everyone's going to come across the line. We'll read them out once they've all finished. Just having a quick look in the chat. Matthias, is there a league in ACC on PS4 for controller players? I think Apex Online is PC only, I think. You might be able to shed some better light on that, Cardinal.
Yeah, let me check. There is absolutely a PlayStation League for Assetto Corsa Competizione. You can check it out at the apexracing.online. apexonline.racing, right? Yeah.
Ah, there is there? Sometimes I'm a little bit of a rookie when it comes to some of the old forums and bits and pieces. So this is why we've got a man like Cardinal Smith here to put me in my place.
That's right. Tim can broadcast everything, chat about everything, and I get to Google things in the background.
Furiously Googling. You are my man in the chair. You're like the Charlie to my angels.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Right, let's quickly make sure we're all up, running and rocking and rolling. And let's have a quick read through the top 10, and then I will hand over to my glorious assistant. Also, you might notice that some penalties going to be appearing. Just as we're sat here on the grid, someone is furiously behind the scenes, quickly putting them all in. So that'll be added to the end of their race time. So how they finish on track might not be how they finish in the end. So on pole, we've got Rodriguez. We saw that amazing 1:58 time come through. Second is Caracas, looking to keep himself up at the top of the points. Watts in third place, that last minute qualifying time as well. Pichik in 4th, Bogodowski in 5th, Busek in 6th, Nogueira in 7th, and Fang down in 8th. Kadil in 9th and Shibalanov in 10th. In fact, I'm going to go through and do the top 15, and then I will hand over to Cardinal after that. Yaroboski in 11th. Fan favourite Mirvale down in 12th. Matt Whitburn in 13th. Cerise. Oh, sorry, I've forgotten how to pronounce that name. It's not Cerise. Cerise. We'll say Cerise. 14th. Steinhauser down in 15th. Marak in 16th. Oh, and Roof in 17th. Fernandez, 18th. Voss in 19th. And Jay Cowley in 20th place. I realise I went all the way to the 20th one rather than 15. Take it away, Cardinal.
Go for it. Yeah, in 21st, we got Mark Bastista in the Bentley. Jan Climbs, the Czech, in 22nd. I expected him to be higher than that. Nico Veldman in the Mercedes, 23rd. Stuart McLeod in the Ferrari, number 69. Dorr in 25th in his big old Audi. Rince Crozen, who won at where was that? Snetterton, down in 26th. Sheldon Muscat in 27th. Muscat had a better practice. Qualifying didn't go his way. Steve Faver in 28th. Gregor Michaud down in 29th in Philo Aston. And Ryan Renoir propping up the field in that Lamborghini, number 732. So, there's going to be races all over this track. It's going to be a tricky, weavy track. Lap 1 especially, if last night's Tier 1 race is anything to go by, it's going to be difficult to keep up with.
Yes.
Tim, what are you looking forward to?
Oh, God. I mean, I'm hoping that everyone can get through Sector 1 cleanly. I mean, I don't want to say it's unlikely, but it's... we can be hopeful, can't we? That's the main thing. Yeah, hopefully everyone can get through Sector 1 nicely, but it should just be nice once the pack has settled in, just seeing this train of cars go through this technical tight circuit, because like we said, not an absolute abundance of places to overtake and lots of back-to-back turns, so very hard to sort of get yourself a real switchback or a cutback on someone, because as soon as the road comes to you, it goes away from you almost immediately again. So hoping to see some decent side-by-side racing, especially in Sector 1. It's a really lovely place to watch. Have you got your eyes on anybody particular this evening?
Before I give my opinion, I just want to call out to chat. Who are the fan favourites tonight? Who are you looking out for? Or is there even, you don't know, you're new here to AOR and Apex Racing, and you just like a look at one of the liveries or the names? Call it out. And we'll keep track on them and how their race is going. Personally, I'm just excited to see this fight up at the front. Rodriguez snatching pole ahead of Caracas. Caracas back off that win. Could have been 2 wins in a row as well. Jonathan Watts with a fantastic last effort there in that Mercedes. These cars are going to behave differently. The further they get into it, I don't know who's going to be strong at the start. The Astons, maybe. Pitchick is going to be looking to make up those places as fast as possible. But he's in a good spot because his championship rival, Shelabanov, down in 10th. We saw the queues of traffic. You know, we saw people getting in each other's way. And maybe he was just caught out there in qualifying, couldn't find the space.
Did see a lot of cars out there all bunched up. And like I said, if you didn't get it done on your first couple of laps, on that first rotation of cars, then you were coming out and either your out lap was, every time you tried to get yourself up to speed, you couldn't weave too much to get your tyres up to temp because you had guys on flying laps around you. Oh, Bastida pits. So, not sure what's gone on there, but presumably he'll be starting from the pits. Whether or not maybe had some hardware issues or he's spun off while trying to warm the tyres up. Wouldn't be the first time we've seen it.
Disappointing. It was 21st. I'm behind Jake Cowley, who's got a 30-second penalty. So would have been likely up to 20th. A shame, but maybe just a setup. Needed more time to get something set up, perhaps, or the wrong tyres were chosen.
Or has he come out on qualifying setup? Has he come out with qualifying fuel and suddenly realised he's not going to make it very far?
He wouldn't be the first. He wouldn't be the first to do it.
And he won't be the last. 100% he will not be the last. It's devastating to see, and if you make the mistake yourself, it's pretty depressing. Or if you completely miscalculate your fuel and for some reason you decide that when you're working out all your maths, you put 120 seconds rather than 60 seconds, so you only have half the amount of fuel, and you don't realise it until you're halfway through your race and you go, oh, hang on, why am I already being told half the fuel's gone?
Yeah, no refueling allowed during the race, so that would be an interesting challenge for some of these drivers. As Caracas knows, you don't want to be running out at any point, never mind the last lap.
No, I mean, and obviously with this level of racing, even though we are Tier 2, the level of racing is up there. So you have to make sure you're not carrying a load of excess fuel. There's no point going out there with, let's say 80 litres of fuel if you don't need 80 litres. But you have to think, is the person on pole, are they going to do that one extra lap? How long is my out lap? Lots of things like this. How hard am I battling? Because if you're battling slightly more and you're using the gears more, then you end up burning that little bit more fuel if you're not, you know, in the groove. Right, they're coming through the final chicane now. Everyone bunching up. It's quite difficult to get yourself in the right place. So, fingers crossed, we don't see any sort of drive-through penalties. Very, very difficult to get yourself in the exact right spot, especially when you're on pole. Very easy to just gap the car behind you that little bit too much. But Rodriguez, he is ready. He looks poised. It's going to go green any second now. Caracas as far up beside him as possible. Nearly putting a nose in front at that point. That's it. Green. Oh yeah, Caracas does get a good start. Is he going to be able to do anything? But actually, Watts gets an even better start. Splits them up through the middle. Not able to do anything. Ooh, under brakes, but he goes through on the inside. Rodriguez went a little bit deep into the first turn, and yes, Watts snatches first place. Caracas just managed to be, well, pushed down to the third now. Oh, that was a little bit tasty. Anything going on in the background that I can't see while I'm following the leaders? I can see one car off.
Ryan Winnoir has taken a tumble across the turf, but is back on track now. Shelabanov and Butchek had a little kick up of dust. Shelabanov's fighting off Jay Fang here and Cadil to hold on to 10th, up to... Something's going crazy in my timer. He jumped from 4th down to 18th and is back in 10th now. I don't know what happened. Yeah,
always has a little bit of a jump when they go through that first sector. Yeah, because apparently for me, Renoir is on pole, but he's definitely not at the moment. I'm not sure why it's saying he's pole. Why is he saying he's pole? Because he's even doing that in-game. Jonathan Watts is technically our pole man. Yes, there we go. Game is caught up. Thank you, Assetto Corsa, for catching up with us eventually. And he looks pretty comfortable out there on pole at the moment. He's managed to break away.
What a start. Jonathan Watts just split Caracas and Rodriguez like Moses to the sea. Just came on through, said, here I am, I'm coming round. Don't care which way, inside, outside, in between. End of the lead. What a start. Pitchek could do nothing about it. He was caught behind Rodriguez, I think, and with Watts just coming through, there was nowhere to go, so Pitchek will have to do it on the track if he wants to get more of an advantage and some more points on the championship board.
Ooh, but possible weakness showing up there. Jonathan Watts, he was pretty slow through that through the final chicane there, and Rodriguez was all over the back of him. I don't think he can make that mistake again. If he goes that slow next lap, I would say that Rodriguez is going to be there to pounce. He can see there's an opening. And Rodriguez now closing up, coming into these S's. Again, it's very difficult to pass here.
I wonder if this is a theme with the Mercedes, because just a few positions back in 9th, Jay Fang, defensive the entire way down the back straight and into these S's. He is holding up Cadil, Van Merveld, and just a little gap starting to show between 8th place Shelabanov and himself. Mercedes maybe a little time to warm up those tyres, but they came on really strong in qualifying eventually.
Well, looking at it now, Busek in 7th is actually having to defend slightly from Shabalanov. So early on in the race and already having to go a little bit defensive. A little bit of the gaps opened up just now. It was a bit too much of a curb run, I think, from Shabalanov. But be interesting to see if we get that big pack split that we saw last week. Because it ended up being there was almost like 5 separate races on track. I'm not sure there's enough room for it here. Oh, a couple of people going slow in the back. 2 cars I can see further down the grid.
That's right. It was into the hairpin there. Cars flying into the hairpin. I don't think there was any accidents, thankfully, but definitely trying to outbrake each other further back here in the grid.
It's easily done as well here. You're just thinking, I can break that little bit later, and then you try it, and it's not quite what you needed. Quickly just jumped on board with Cadil, who's being chased down by Meerveld. He's in 10th place at the moment as they fly through that left-hander. And Jay Fang up in front, obviously. Oh, have we just seen a move? I think as soon as I cut away from Shabalanov, he's made the move on Busek, and he is passed. brilliant move by him. I believe that was on the entrance to the chicane. He managed to do that. I just caught it at the front of the shot. Excellent move.
I just want to call out, heading into 130R, Steve Favre past Jake. Jan climbs in exactly the same way as you just described. A great move. And Kylie doing the same into turn 1 on Jan climbs. Jan climbs having a couple of bad corners.
Let's jump back on board with Climbs. Climbs is in 20th place. Let's have a quick look, Ski.
Yeah, Voss has now passed him too. Just had a really difficult entry into the S's, and these guys in front absolutely pounced on him. Voss and Cowley both getting past Jan Climbs.
Again, it's the kind of circuit where it's just turn after turn after turn. As soon as you go off your ideal line, it's really hard to recover, isn't it? Without sort of slowing down. Oh, the battle in front of these guys as well is heating up significantly. So that's who was that? Cowley versus Favre, I believe, and Voss as well.
Yeah, Cowley with that 30-second penalty, I think wants to see if there's any way he could pull away and trying to get past as many people as possible. If there's any extra points he can grab today. A difficult ask for the number 5, but he certainly got past Jan Climbs, okay? Voss not going to let him go, however.
No, he is. He's sticking on with him. And, well, you think it's two very, very different cars as well, though, isn't it? It's Porsche versus Aston Martin, so it'll be interesting to see how the Porsches fare later in the race when they've burnt a bit of fuel. Sometimes they can go a little bit understeery. There's a lot of high-speed flying turns here, so it'll be interesting to see if they can maintain that front-end grip. Just trying to see if there's any battles hopping up at the front. We're going to jump back on with Watts, who is on the main straight at the moment going into turn 1.
Yeah, Rodriguez has not let Watts go, and neither has Caracas.
No, these three look like they're starting to break away from the pack just a little bit. Starting to get these little splits, so it's first, second and third of their own little pack, and then fourth, fifth and sixth as well. Managing to break away. Oh, a little move up the inside there from Rodriguez. He had a little look. Starting to really put the pressure on Rodriguez. On Watts, sorry.
What was he thinking? No, I'm sure it was a legit chance, but what a time to be thinking about a move in this tight section with the weaving corners. I wondered was he compromised out of one corner somehow? But look, Caracas is now having a look at Rodriguez, heading down into the hairpin. Oh, Rodriguez goes defensive, blocks off any move.
Well, it almost looked like Caracas had to sort of almost bail out of his move and dip out to the outside, or whether or not he was maybe going to try and outbrake him and go round the outside at the hairpin. But that would be a pretty bold move. There's not a lot of grip out there on the outside of that hairpin.
No entrance or exit, and Rodriguez taking a tighter line and wider out than Watts, and looks to have lost a bit of time because of that. Caracas in that McLaren, maybe having a think about 130R here.
Yeah, on board with him now in the cockpit. He looks up the inside, not able to take advantage. Can he make a move into the chicane? Hard on the brakes, looks up the inside. Doors open, but not quite wide enough.
Sorry for providing sound effects of going, oh, but he's just so tight through there.
Oh no,
right, the door was
you've got to do it. I'm doing it as well. I'm constantly making obscure noises. Caracas definitely.
Boroditsky in the background also under pressure from Nagura. Boroditsky's trying to force him out wide. Nagura says, I'm still coming anyway, but has to back out eventually. Sorry, what's happening up front?
No, that's all right. I was just going to say he was having a little look into turn 1, Caracas, and he was definitely in the tow, but not able to actually make a move and sort of bank that check. Not able to. Pichik starting to pull away from Boroditsky as well now, so it'd be interesting to see if the tyres in that Bentley could turn on and he could go on the offensive after Caracas. And as a quick one, Pichik, you will notice he's in a purple livery. And I would love to say it's because I fixed my livery issue, but it isn't. He's changed his livery. He's now got an in-game purple livery. So full props to that man for changing it. And I think at the end of the season I'm going to pressure wash my PC or something. I just don't know. I need to do something to work out what's going on. But yeah, Pitchick all over the back of that leading pack now. He was pretty much licking the back end of Caracas in the McLaren there. So I reckon
I was starting to wonder, after we spoke to Pitchick at the last race, he was mentioning he had the, a full wet setup, and the conditions just, when it dried out, he didn't have the pace to hold out. And he still finished second, which was, or was it second or fourth? I can't remember. It was still an incredible result given that setup.
I will pull the result up now while you're talking.
But he no mistake now this time. I think it's just that car taking time to get the heat up, and it's coming to him now, and that's what he wants. Further back, there is still an absolute stream of cars from Whitburn all the way back. I think 11th, possibly down to 20th. I've been watching Gasper Mrak. I think has passed Jay Royf for the McLaren on Lamborghini. It's been a tight battle. About 10 cars or so. Sorice, I think, is going to be having a look 14th on to 13th.
Oh, yes, on that battle now. Has a look up the inside of the turn one. Not quite able to. But, oh, and who's this behind as well? That's Roof, isn't it? No, sorry, Mrak. God, that's a big pack of cars, isn't it? That's very, very tight.
These guys are all over each other. I thought there was going to be a touch from Sorice to Jarzabowski there. But Mrak is now closed right up on Vincenzo, and that Ferrari is under pressure after trying to put on a strong attack into turn one there. I really like Jarzabowski's livery. I know it's very Italian. It's a Ferrari. It's white, green, and red, but it kind of reminds me of the old Castrol liveries.
Oh yeah, was it on the Supras?
The Supra,
like
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That was a beautiful car. That was a really beautiful car, wasn't it?
Just a trip back in time there for liveries.
See, that's what they should try and put that on the GT4 Toyota, the new Supra. They should put it on there. They should get the sponsor and make it. That would be a beautiful livery.
I think it's only a matter of time. What do you see?
Well, for a moment it looked like, well, the gap is 0.1 between Watts and Rodriguez, but that's now opened up to 0.5, so I think obviously I just caught the timing board at the slightly wrong moment. But,
and they were heading down the back straight, and to be honest, it looked more like Caracas was pulling up to the back of Rodriguez again, and they're heading around the last curve now. Caracas maybe has a little run on Rodriguez. I think he's a little too far back this lap.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's going to be quite close enough to make a move, but he's definitely close enough to be in the tow. The Aston is not getting away at all, and again, all three of these cars close right up. It looks like, going into the S's, Rodriguez is the strongest of this three, but obviously there's nowhere to get past Watts. He's got to come offline to try and get past him, and you just lose all your speed. Look, all three of them coming right up into each other now. Watts, obviously the cork in the bottle through sector one.
I think we can say, possibly for certainty now, Watts is set up for straight line speed, and Rodriguez possibly the exact opposite in that Aston. Look how close and tight he is through these S's, down to these curbs.
Oh, massive curb strike from him there, those sparks flying from underneath the car, so probably unsettled slightly, but is he close enough to make a move here just prior to the chicane? Not sure, the hairpin? No, not quite. Thinks about it under braking. When he's got to be absolutely touching.
Holding him up so much round the bends there. And then just that Mercedes blasts off once it gets into the straight line.
Yeah, it just looks like it squats and goes, doesn't it? It just goes from an absolute standstill to flying in just an absolutely amazing short period of time.
I think Rodriguez will have to be very brave at some point in one of these tighter sections to get past Watts, unless he can get a perfect run out of Casio Triangle and then a good run onto that straight to keep up with Jonathan Watts, and then have a good chance to strike into the S's.
He's definitely slightly quicker there through the flying left-hander coming into the chicane. Again, though, not able to do much with it.
Needs a good run here. Needs a good exit. And he's certainly further away from Caracas this time around, but I don't think Watts can be touched in the straight line.
No, I think they're going to have to do it in the braking, or it's going to, like you said, it's going to have to be mid-turn. Again, look, that gap that opened right up through turn 1, that long right-hander, and Rodriguez is right on the back of him again. But Pitchick really looking racy on the back of Caracas now. And he will want to outscore Caracas.
I think there's a drive-through penalty for Mathis Voss.
Oh, Voss.
Voss with the drive-through.
I mean, I presume that's going to be track limits, possibly, down at Spoon. He might be going off wide there multiple times.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Track limits is the cause.
Or turn 1, he might have just been pushing that a little bit too far. I mean, there's lots of places here, actually, that you can abuse the track limits. But none of them really seem to, I don't think, give you much of an advantage. So it'd be interesting to see what that was that he's where he's been abusing. Oh, Rodriguez tries to go up the inside, tries to get a bit of a switchback, wasn't able to, and Caracas now really on the back of him again. I do feel like I'm watching an awful lot of this battle for pole position, but I know as soon as we look away, something's going to happen.
Don't worry about it. It's a fantastic race we have for the fighting it out for the lead. It's what we want to see. There are plenty of battles going on further down the field. Let me just have a look down there and check this out. Jan Klein still having a falling back now from Cowley, who still has to serve that penalty in the pits.
Well, Climbs has got to be thinking to himself, to a certain extent, he's going to gain at least 2 positions automatically. Voss has got to come in, so that's a position, and Jay Cowley obviously with a 30-second penalty. Again, that's another position or 2. It's more than not a bad position to be in. At least he knows he's going to be inside the top 20 if he can maintain his current pace. Oh, someone off. Who was that? I think it was a Porsche. So would that be Voss that we just saw at the side of the track? Yeah, quite possibly. Because he's returned to pit, but he did not drive in. I think he just teleported straight in. Who is that as well?
Roof has come into the pits. Roof has come into the pits on purpose. And Whitbird spun at turn 1.
Oh no! What position was he in? He was in 11th.
He was 11th.
So
yeah.
He is no doubt going to be dropping.
It looks like Steinheiser has passed him. Steinheiser is in 16th. So he's lost 5 positions. It could be worse. But he was on, challenging for a top 10 finish today. And those tyres are toasted.
Oh yeah, Whitburn. Yes, he's now...
Oh, he's had another accident and he's spun it into the wall.
Oh, he's got on the brakes there.
And he held it on the brakes.
Yeah, he's managed to keep himself out of trouble, but he's just going to have to sit there and wait now. I think he's stalled as well, so a big flash of the lights.
Good heavens, he's reset into the pit lane, but he was sliding around those S's on those roasting hot tyres, and then it just, on the exit, didn't look good at all. Unfortunate.
Oh, carry on, sorry, I thought you'd finished.
No, he's just typed into the chat, actually, in the game, big lag spike for Matt Whitburn.
I'm not entirely sure what would have caused that. I know some people... Oh, Caracas on the back of Rodriguez. Going to have to quickly cut to that one. Really close there through 130R. Can he do anything here? I think believe that the final chicane is called Casio, I believe. So that's pretty cool. And relevant, because I'm wearing a Casio right now.
Oh, check you out.
Oh, yeah. I live that Casio life, baby.
Caracas right on Rodriguez's tail now, getting every piece of toe he can get. Rodriguez inching a little to the right to show he will defend hard.
Pitchick into the pits as well now, so he's obviously gone for an earlier pit strategy. I'm surprised because he seemed to be running in some reasonably clear air, although he had dropped off the back of Caracas ever so slightly.
I wonder if that's a strategy change. I wonder, is he not only hoping for the undercut, but maybe he's changing tyre pressures to adjust to the track and the temperature?
Possibly. I mean, it's still at a steady 17 all round though, isn't it? So they should be pretty close to their, practice setups.
They sure should. They sure should. But if he has any issues. He's been on the wrong setup before and performed well and held it in that top 5. Is he stuck in his qualifying setup? Can he make the changes now? Hopefully we'll hear from Pitchick.
Oh, he's out. He's coming out again. So he's now. Oh, he's still falling down the order as I'm watching. The top 3 though, they've split up a little bit. Watts looks like he's managed to get away slightly. Rodriguez has managed to shake Caracas off for another couple of turns. So this time last lap, those two were absolutely nose to tail. So I'm just trying to see if there's anyone that is particularly close. Cerise
and Marak, yeah, they are still fighting it out. They were close together at the hairpin. And Marak trying to get the big run on Cerise down the back straight, but Cerise had a good run himself, cancelling out that good. He's getting a tow as well from the Toyota Celica, the Toyota Supra there of Jabrowski. So that's helping Cerise a lot. Oh, Marak, how wide do you want it?
Yeah, both of those guys, and that's to be honest, I forgot about that turn. That's probably where a lot of people are getting their track limit warnings. Oh, Rodriguez into the pits. And Shabalanov into the pits as well. So Rodriguez obviously fed up of fighting and hoping that he can maybe get the undercut on these guys. Interesting.
Well, that's fascinating. That's fascinating because what's Pitchick? How fast has Pitchick been on his outlap? Because are they responding to it? Do they know Pitchick's come in? Or is there something they know about the undercut? They just think, okay, this is the way I'm going to get past.
Well,
this is the way I'm going to get past Jonathan Watts. Yeah.
He's just coming into that 130R now, so it'd be interesting to see if he can be there before Rodriguez.
He would need a fast lap for sure.
Well, there he goes, going through Casio now. Oh, Rodriguez, I think he's going to be rolling. I'm not sure how quickly he's going to be out.
Coming up, just passing the start-finish straight now. 357 coming out of the pit lane is going to be close. He's ahead of Shilbanov, but behind Rodriguez. Stalemate for Pitchick, but now can these guys, this little trio now, the longer the others stay out, how much is it going to affect? Or does that force the hand of the leaders, Jonathan Watts and Caracas? Do they now have to stay out to nullify the undercut?
Well, I suppose they've got to either go for a very different strategy, which is obviously going to be later, or they've got to get it done quickly now. I mean, just under 40 minutes left of the race. I think it's going to be interesting as well to see Rodriguez, now that he is released and he's no longer having to battle, what is his pace? Because we saw him all over the back of Jonathan Watts. Watts in the pits. Watts into the pits.
Responding, and Caracas takes the lead. Caracas also just did the fastest lap of the race on a 2-minute 2. So, I mean, he's staying out and he's the fastest man. Ominous.
Like we said, we've seen him do it before. He's because I don't think he started on pole last race, but obviously finished on pole. I think he started in second, I think. Or I might be completely wrong on that one. And feel free in the chat to tell me I'm a complete muppet, as that's usually the way. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he can maintain the pace. And like we were saying with Pitchick, obviously, last race was worried, like we said, he was worried about setup. And he reckoned he had a lot of understeer towards the end of the race. We obviously saw him very competitive here at the start. Are we going to see that drop off again? I mean, Rodriguez and Pitchick are currently our fastest pitted drivers. Although Watts is... Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Watts
and their tyres are warmer now. They will be getting up to speed. Watts is just coming out of the pits. They're crossing the line. How close is it going to be? Watts has been pincered. Rodriguez has got past. Pitchick is right on the tail of Watts. And Watts on those cold tyres is going to be under a lot of pressure, as we know he has not been the most nimblest of cars through these S's. Pitchick on those hot tyres is being held up. He is all over the back of Watts. Shilbanov not close enough to interfere with this challenge. The Pitchick needs to go for this move as soon as possible before Watts has the ability to heat those tyres up, and goes wide around the outside looking for a space. No room there. I think it's dirty there, especially in this cold track. Watts goes defensive into the corner here. Pitchick nowhere to go. Down the inside, heading to this corner.
Not quite able to make it. Yeah, not quite able to take advantage of it, and he'll be devastated that all this time he is losing space to Rodriguez, and it's not what he wants. He would have wanted to get in front. Just a quick one.
I think this is costing Pitchick a podium place, I think, if he stays behind Watts. Whereas the opposite flip of that coin is Watts is looking good for a podium if he can keep Pitchick behind. Sorry, go ahead, Tim.
Oh, that's right. I was just going to quickly just say, Ryan Patton just saying in the chat, why has Bogo got a 30-second penalty? I believe he came into the race with a 30-second penalty, which presumably you're on about Borgodowski. I believe that is due to probably incidents in the last race. We have a sort of steward system here where you can put in, if you think you've been wronged, you can put in a clip and a board will have a look at it and say, oh yeah, that doesn't look quite right. So
sorry, Tim. Sorry to interrupt.
No, go for it.
Caracas is pitted. He is coming out of the pits now. He's just number 357 coming down the start-finish straight. This is going to be tight. I don't know if Caracas has it.
I'm on board with him now into turn 1. He's in front. He's in front of Watts.
Rodriguez takes the lead with his ability to pull away that attack from Pitchick and Jonathan Watts attacking each other. And look at this, Caracas jumps Jonathan Watts up into second place. Obviously, other drivers ahead yet to drive. And Pitchick will be seeing Caracas come out ahead of Jonathan Watts there. And we'll be disappointed to see that. Sorry to interrupt, but...
No. Far more important. I was merely servicing the chat. There was on-track things happening, and it is much, much more important. Just hovering over Caracas now, actually. And be interesting to see... Obviously, this is his outlap, but he doesn't look to be under attack from Watts yet. I really thought Watts would have been able to close up on him, but he's just not quite able to.
And you're absolutely right. It's very important to service chat. But you're right, Watts. Does Watts have a chance here? We know he's fast in the straights. If we can get...
I think if he can stay clean, he does. Because, I mean, to be honest, on the straights is your easiest and best place to try and overtake. Just as a quick one, just on board with Jay Fang, looking back at Roof now. Just if anyone's wondering who we're on board with, just while we're having a quick talk. But yeah, I think on the straights, or sort of going into corners, is your best chance to overtake here. Sort of like making a move, a dive up the inside. But again, if you can't close the gap on the straight, doesn't matter how good you are on the brakes or how nimble your car is, you can defend. You can just go a little bit slower in your, straight line car, like we're seeing here in the Mercedes. And it's a great car. It seems to be doing it really well, doesn't it? Oof, looking back over the rear wing through 130R, that was pretty terrifying, actually, to be honest.
Amazing view. And what's this going for a little dive down Caracas, but has backed out. He just wasn't close enough. He was trying to get past Caracas there. Pitchick stayed with him. Shelabanov just still lurking behind there. He'll be ready to pick up the pieces if any of these two take each other out.
That's probably going to be Pitchick's sort of hope now, isn't it? It's going to be he's hoping that someone makes a mistake in front, that these two slow themselves down and he can get himself past. Although, to be honest, actually, Caracas coming out just in front of Watts might have done, like I said, Pitchick a favour. Because if those two start squabbling, they're going to come off the pace. Pitchick can sit there, wait his turn, and then just use the Bentley to his advantage and hopefully get past. Because I think, on paper, the Mercedes and the Bentley on a straight line, probably not much between them.
Absolutely not. And you know what we said at the start of the race? We were talking about drivers who performed brilliantly at the first race of the season in Kyalami. Rodriguez with a 3rd place. Following that, a 24th, a 26th, an 8th has been his best result since. And he couldn't attend at the last race out. Now leading this race. Now, if that isn't a commentator's curse, I will stop talking right now.
I just jumped on board with Yaraboski and Sarice, as those two are still squabbling at 0.2 between them last time I had a quick look. So just having a little look at this battle. Again, there's They haven't traded places, but they are so close. Nothing between them at all coming on the back straight. Oh, actually, might be about to see a move here from Suriche up the inside. Not able to. Runs a little bit wide there. No, and the advantage he gains is lost. And no, I don't think he's got a very equal run out of that final turn. So actually looks like he's losing some ground on the main straight.
Great to see Kanabich in chat here, shouting out for Janik Ruff in the Lamborghini, currently 14th. And trying to catch up to Jay Fang in 13th. Obviously, still a few more drivers to pit, so they will move up the leaderboard. Quite a little battle ahead of him between Brack, Steinhauser, and Fang. The fight for 11th. Or I tell a lie, between Steinhauser and Van Meerveld. I apologise, for 10th. The McLaren on Aston. The positions keep changing as people...
Yeah, they do. It's really difficult to sort of catch up with it sometimes. Is Borgodowski serving his 30-second penalty now? Or I don't think it is. I thought it just got added to the end of the race. Or can you serve it in the pits? Honestly, I can't remember off the top of my head. It's been a little while since...
I think you can serve it during the race at your pit stop.
Yeah, so I mean, there we go. He's in the pits at the moment, so it'd be interesting to see if he serves that 30 now. Still on board with Steinhauser at the moment, having a lovely little battle. He's got Fang right up behind him as well, hasn't he?
Oh, Fang's looking for a little juicy little mistake from Steinhauser for sure. Steinhauser, lovely clean livery. Completely white, but they're nice little tones of that purple blue striped on. Yeah, I just like it.
Yep, it's distinctive, but not in your face and busy, isn't it? It's pretty good. Oh,
well, we can certainly we can tell him the difference between him and Jay Fang. Go ahead.
Yeah, quick one in the chat. Sim Racer Shrek saying good morning. He's saying he's just subbed, so thank you very much. Appreciate that. Have to make sure you give you a decent shout out. Lots and lots of racing here at Apex Online Racing. Not just GT3 Sprint Cup. We've also got the upcoming endurance race. Oh, Jay Fang had a little look up the inside. You've got the upcoming endurance race. I believe that is this weekend. Is the first race on the 9th, I believe. They could. You're the man probably to speak about it more because I know you are commentating on it. I am sadly I'm away this weekend, so not able to. If I was away for any other reason than the reason I am away, I'd probably be a little bit upset, but I'm off to watch some real-world racing, so I'll probably have to tune in on my phone and try and have a little look-ski and cheer everyone on.
Oh, drop us a message in chat, but rather than that, just enjoy the real-life racing you're going to see. That's going to be tremendous. And you're absolutely right, the 9th of October, this weekend, this Saturday, is the first race that AOR, Apex Online Racing, has ever hosted of an endurance GT3 championship. It's going to be held at Barcelona. It's a 9-hour race. Obviously there'll be teams or drivers, minimum of 2, maximum of whatever you want. And yeah, it's going to be an exciting event. I'll have to get the snacks ready, the drinks. Get my mute button so I can eat and keep the energy levels up while commentating.
I am sure you'll do a fantastic job. Obviously, everybody had a little jump on when they did was it 9 hours of Donington earlier this year, which was a bit of a tester to see how we all got on in a endurance environment. And so that was it. Then they decided to do the endurance championship, which is fantastic to see a full championship, various race lengths at some various circuits as well. So.
And some various drivers too. Plenty of these drivers to be involved. Plenty of the Tier 1 drivers. Some big names in there as well, also involved, that we would love to see. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's really nice. All the community really gets together, and so it's quite nice seeing obviously all the teams and I say various teams from all over the different. From the tiers as well. It's not just all the Tier 1 drivers bunched together in a team. Obviously, lads that know each other from different tiers, they get together, so you have a slightly faster racer and a slightly slower racer, much like real life. It's not all just absolute aliens the entire time. Just having a look now. Rodriguez has opened up a 3-second lead, so he is pretty comfortably sitting out there now. Caracas in second, and he's opened himself up second and a half. So that's not bad.
Not bad at all. I'm just checking further back. I think Jake Cowley is our last running racer. I think Cowley has served his 30-second penalty. That would explain
yes.
it. Jan Climbs is having a miserable affair down in 24th. He was just 4/10 behind Gregoire Michaud, but it looks to have very little grip in that Porsche. Coming out of the Casio sideways, doing a little rally.
It doesn't look very stable, does it? Say down. Whereabouts we now? We're climbed at the moment, so. Yeah, I know that when those Porsches, they start running a little bit lower on fuel, like I said, that it really affects the handling. I know a lot of people in a race where you can refuel, they will top up unnecessarily just to keep the grip on the front end, depending on the circuit. And here at Suzuka, you need that front end grip. There's lots and lots of just corner after corner. There's no time to sort of let off the throttle and set the car up and get it turned in. You're just bang, 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 constantly turning. Just trying to have a little look just to see if we can... so it looks like Bastida, who we saw go to the pits, obviously, at the very beginning, he's out. Renoir out as well. Voss appears to be out. Matt Whitburn also out. Oh, so actually Jay Cowley, who is 25th, I think actually is our last man out on the circuit. Oh, yeah, he was. Yes, because you said obviously about his penalty. Apologies. That went in one ear and completely out the other for a moment or two.
No problem. I just want to point on other drivers. I think we've lost Nico Veldman in 17th. I'm not sure what happened, but has come into the pits and has left. So...
yeah, I can't see him. Veldman.
I can go take a look.
No, I think he's gone. I think he's gone. I was trying to have a little look to see if I can get him on my screen, but Veldman. I'm sure I saw it a moment ago. Veldman. Yeah, he's in the pits, and yeah, I can't select him. So yeah, I believe he is gone as well.
Veldman started 23rd in this race, and you know what? If you want to carry on with the race, I will find out what's happened. Running in 14th up until a short moment ago.
I think the closest battle I can see at the moment is... oh, come on then. That was a big... what was it?
Yeah, lovely race between him and Dor. Down into turn 1, carrying so much speed, and turns completely sideways, and about 4 or 5 cars pass around. Let me see. Into the S's, and then loses it. Smashes into the wall in the middle of the S's.
Yeah, overheated the tyres on that when he slid, and then that's it. And there's just no time on this circuit to get your tyre temp down again, is there?
We've seen the same with Matt Whitburn. We've seen the same. A little turn, little spin, and there was no way of bringing those tyres back. Or they need to be very tentative right here once they do that. Once they do have an off.
Oh, just seeing a yellow flag back at the Casio chicane. Not sure who that was. Just quickly having a quick look on board with Dor at the moment in the very loud Audi, both in paint scheme and an exhaust note. Just trying to see who is our closest battle.
I think we have Barbara and Bogoroditsky. Bogoroditsky's obviously pitted leader and served that penalty, and is... I can't get enough of the rear end of Favera's Aston. And looking up the inside of the corner, you wouldn't expect to pass it, but now it has the disadvantage of coming into the outside of this corner as they approach. Favre will have the better line. Bogoroditsky off the track to try and defend. And again...
on earth did he hold that together? He hasn't given up the position, but he's not quite able to. Can he make a move here? He's up the inside for the chicane, for the hairpin. Yes, gets it done. Ooh, little
what a
rub.
touch.
Yep, just a little rub, but I
touch, hug and a kiss.
He should be able to push Favre out slightly wider, and there you go. I think he's made the move. Maybe go defensive into this turn. Oh God, they are absolutely neck and neck at the moment.
Wow, we haven't seen that throughout the entire race, side by side through each of those corners, tricky sections, places you don't expect passes to happen.
No,
and Bogardowski was on the grass. He was off the circuit.
Yeah,
you know,
he still
and
managed
still
to get his
keeping
nose in front, didn't he? He managed to get his nose in front and just shut the door going into that following turn. And now he's passed. It looks like he's getting a bit of a stretch. Keeps it clean and well within the track.
Absolutely. Looks like he has this one. And I would have maybe questioned the move had he have completed the pass off the circuit. But he didn't. He made the dive down towards into the hairpin and then held it from there on in. So probably legal and great racing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they still battled on ever so slightly after he'd gone off track. I mean, to his credit, he didn't really have anywhere to go. I mean, he was technically sort of a wheel in front, but he was on the outside, so he kind of had to give up the apex. There was no way he was going to be able to come across and try and close the door. But fantastic.
Yeah, if you want another battle, you have Shelabanov has taken Butchek. And these two guys have been racing all race long. Before the pits.
He's finally done it. He's passed, didn't he? I was just actually back on board with, who was that? It was Climbs, I believe, is having a little bit of a squabble towards the back of the pack. But it's nice livery on the Ferrari there as well, actually, in a Busek's car. I do quite like it. Again, a little bit loud, but, you know, we'll let it pass. It's good. It's good.
It's like a giant reflector once those lights hit it. This nighttime Suzuka lit up and it comes into the light. Boom! You need sunglasses. I do like the contrast with the purple and the fluorescent yellow.
Ooh, good run through the chicane there. But I think he slightly outdid himself leaving that turn and has just slowed himself down, although he does look like he is closing on the back. Let's have a little...
Oh, I do like that brave little look. Hello, Shelabanov. Right here and waiting for you. Want to make a mistake? I'll be there.
Oh, yeah, coming through the S's now. Looking over the back wing of Shelabanov. Nothing between them. It's like someone gets a little bit of an advantage under braking, and then the other person gets a little advantage coming out the turn on the throttle. There is absolutely nothing between these guys, and this is why they have been battling since lap 1. And, well, just under 18 minutes left of the race now, and not these massive leads that we've seen previously. Obviously, we've seen some, like, I think it was Zandvoort, we saw some massive breakaways, but 3.3 seconds, so that gap's not opening up much more between Rodriguez and Caracas than we saw early on through the hairpin. Absolutely nothing between them, is there?
Right behind, lovely view, by the way. Right behind these guys in 8th and 9th, Cadeel and Van Mervelde, doing exactly the same thing. Two McLarens are right on each other. You just called there was 18 minutes left. I can't believe it. Where has the last 40 minutes gone?
I don't know. I really don't know. It's really flown by, hasn't it? So Cadeel being chased by fan favourite Mervelde in the Gulf-coloured. Technically can it be Gulf-coloured if it's on a McLaren? Kind of feels slightly sacrilegious, doesn't it? Really.
Well, no, it's fine because McLaren did it at the Monaco Grand Prix 2021 as a once-off. So it's legit. You're allowed to say it.
Oh, definitely closed up there. Mervelde really close on the back of Cadeel. Can he make a move down into turn 1? I don't think he's quite close enough to be in the tow, but Jay Fang and Steinhauser behind them as well. Those two are still squabbling.
Little pairs up and down all over the top 10, top 20. Absolutely loving this. Van Mervelde, we watched a lot of him at the Dutch Grand Prix Zandvoort last time out, mainly because everyone in chat was asking about him. But he just stayed strong the whole race and came good near the end. Really competitive the whole way through this hour-long hour-long race. So that's obviously bad news for Cardinal, because Van Meerveld I don't think is going anywhere.
As you said that, commentator's curse, it looked like he got a little bit loose through the S's, and he has dropped back a little bit now. So I think a little bit of the commentator's curse might have kicked in slightly there.
Van Meerveld fans, I will stop talking about it.
Oh, there you go, look, I am being yelled at in the chat. Mike X Papa, Golf McLaren F1 GT, anyone? Hello? Of course, you can put golf colours on a McLaren. Okay, I stand corrected, I apologise.
Papa has spoken.
Yeah, sorry, father. So Shabalov not able to shake Busek though, is he? That's still a battle that's really going on.
Oh, that's tight as well. Just a call out across the times and leaderboards. Caracas is our fastest man on track. 2 tenths faster than Rodriguez in the lead last time round. The gap down to 2.9. But you're absolutely right. Shilibanov is not no space to breathe here with this Ferrari of Butchek, and he's getting exactly what he gave to Butchek in the first half of the race. How close are these guys in the where? I know Shilibanov's our championship leader, but where is Butchek? Oh.
Butchek is 7th place.
Butchek has his own bone to grind, axe to grind. Not as if there's anything against Shilibanov, but he's out for his own championship hopes as well. These are big points up at the sharp end of the leaderboard here.
Just trying to see now, just trying to work out where on the track sort of certain drivers' weaknesses are, and it does look like now it's just coming to the end of the S's, and yeah, Busek, that gap's opened right back up again. See, him and Shabalov, they were absolutely neck and neck, and he just seems to, over the first half of the track, lose a little bit of ground, but he looks like he's reeling it back in again towards the second half.
Seemed to get a better run out of that last corner, Butchek, and closing down into the hairpin. Butchek seems to be earlier in the par out of these tight corners, but Shilibanov's McLaren through the weavy boys, the S's, just pulling away.
Just super planted, isn't it? It just looks really comfortably planted down. I mean, it's interesting, obviously, seeing people's different setups. As we saw earlier on, Meerveld, he looked a little bit unsettled through the S's when he was trying to chase after the back of Cardinal. And that, again, that's McLaren versus McLaren, and they just looked totally different going through there.
Absolutely. I mean, in contrast to that Porsche we see of Jan Klimes, down in 22nd, having a difficult time trying to keep it on the road. Never mind as planted as Shilibanov's McLarens and all the others.
A little battle that I think we're going to see heat up towards the end is Fang versus Steinhauser. That's the battle for 10th place, so desperately trying to get inside the top 10.
Yeah, if you want to see a move, Jabowski and Bogoroditsky, 16th, 17th. Bogoroditsky's pulled away from Favre and is trying it down into the Casio. No room at the end here.
Oh, but on the exit, great run there. Good lord, that was an amazing exit. Nowhere to go though, was there? You're right on the back of a...
Launched, flashing the lights.
I mean, I think at this point you kind of can get away with a little bit of a flash maybe. Can he make a move here into turn 1? He goes for the outside. He is! Ooh, if he can make it stick, that's amazing. He tries to shut the door. There was no room to do it though. Fair play to... Bogodowski,
Oh,
I mean,
Jabowski's not too impressed about it.
That's
there was a little coming together, a little touch. Bogodowski tried to shut the door, as you said, but
yeah,
Jabowski was still there, holding it on the inside. And to be honest, I'm glad Jabowski, maybe pulled back a little to not cause a collision.
I think he could have definitely backed off. I think that's why he flashed. I think obviously there was a slight incident. He braked to avoid turning Bogodowski the whole way round. I think he was flashing to say, "Come on, mate, I was good to you then. I didn't push you off." So
Bogodowski needs to he needs to keep going along with this pace. And what are his laps times? Well, he's done a 1:59.8 this race, which is very much comparable to the top 10, top 11. But he needs the points. Excuse me, if he's to hold on to third place in this championship.
Yeah.
Only 9 points ahead of Vince van Meerveld, who is up the road, so to speak, in ninth place right now, having that great fight with Cadil, and actually has a great run on Cadil.
Oh,
So does
that
Butchik
is
up in front.
very close, isn't it? Yes. Are we going to see a move around the outside here for turn one? He looks to the inside, not able to take advantage.
But I think what we've seen with Boroditsky is he held it round the outside, and that's where he found the room. Cadil just holds it round the outside, and then swooshes across, shuts the door. Van Meerveld has nowhere to go.
On board with Cadil now, actually. Listening to his gear-changing techniques, he's dropping down a gear to get the braking done and get the turn in, but then immediately clicking back up. So he's almost short-shifting to make sure he doesn't lose traction through those leading S's. Brilliant little bit of driving there, but my goodness, absolutely all over those paddles.
Oh, that must be exhausting on him and of that little McLaren's engine, which will start to affect fuel usage. Meerveld, I think, has to back out of a move.
Yeah, there was definitely a look there, wasn't there? You definitely was on the offensive.
Maybe lost a little time just having to back out there, but still right in the back. Battles in front, battles behind them.
Shabalanov all over the... Shabalanov being hunted down by Busek. God, these two have just been absolutely hammer and tongs the whole way through, haven't they, really? And now, Busek all over the back of him, going through 130R. Can he make a movement? I don't think he's going to be quite able to.
Needs a fantastic run out of here. Takes a lot of grass heading into Casio.
I think it was a couple of laps ago we saw he made a move where he tried to get round, but he just had nowhere to go. Just where he was on track, just wasn't able to take advantage. I think there might have been a little flash in the background there from Meerveld, trying to maybe unsettle Cadil ever so slightly. So jump back on board with them as they go into turn one. Not close enough to make a move this time. Meerveld just managing to stay out in front. Back to the Shabalanov battle, and as quick I just noticed, just over 8 minutes left of the race now. So time is flying for these guys. Just trying to see if there's any other really close ones.
Papa in chat I'm yelling. In caps. Here we yell. We hear you, Daddy. Don't worry.
Yeah. I am scolded, I'm sorry. Just looking out, Cadil actually looks like he's just managed to pull away from Meerveld again after coming through the S's. So I think closest one is going to be Shabalanov versus Busek again. These two are so evenly matched though, aren't they? Like there's just been nothing between them the whole way. Oh! Something to keep an eye on. I think at the front, Caracas has closed the gap down to less than 2 seconds to Rodriguez. So that was 3.3 last time I checked in. It's now 1.8 between them. So
that's happened on this lap. That was 3 seconds. 20 seconds ago. Rodriguez has had some kind of incident. He is 2 seconds slower in this lap than he was on his previous lap.
So a quick look and see what his lap time is. So 1:59.
And Caracas is indeed within sight.
Yeah, I mean
it was a little closer there. I was taking a look and it was a shot down the entire start-finish straight, and it looked much closer than it was to me. But 1.7. Yeah, Rodriguez and that last lap.
It's definitely striking distance, isn't it? It's definitely striking distance. I think it was 0.3 between them, wasn't it? So the last lap was a 1:59.9 and a 1:59.6 from Caracas, but they're now both down on their best times.
Both down, but incredible pace. That they are the fastest men out there by almost, let's see, a 1:59.6. What's the next fastest? Jonathan Watts with a 2:03 3. Like almost 8-9 seconds, or seconds? What? Tenths?
I think we're going to see at least some battles towards the end. Caracas definitely looks like he is on the offensive, looking like the stronger racer this late in the stage.
Absolutely. And what you're seeing here is Rodriguez in the black Aston Martin, Caracas in the black McLaren, Jonathan Watts in the black Mercedes. These cars are powered by the night. They are loving nighttime Suzuka, and they have pulled away from the whole field. No solar power in these. It's the opposite.
Yeah, all petrol power. You get this is why they're racing in Suzuka, because there's fuel there, so they can actually race.
No, I thought it was an international issue. I thought everywhere had HGV driver shortages and fuel issues.
No, I think it's just us. I'm pretty sure.
All fine here. Nothing wrong here. Move along.
Oh, Rodriguez. Yeah, it's down now to just over a second between them. I mean, a second's still quite a long way to go, but I mean, we could definitely see it. We could definitely see some sort of an attack coming.
And 1/10 between Butchek and Shelabanov.
Ooh,
And
yes.
Butchek round the outside through the S's, looking for a space. Is alongside Shelabanov, tries to close the door. And I think Butchek had to back out. No room, no quarter given there at all from Shelabanov. And that's important for the championship. Just 2 places behind his championship rival. First and second, Pitchek in fourth. Butchek could be the kingmaker here and cost Shelabanov some points.
Yeah. Again, that's a big dive under brake in there from Busek, and it looked like he unsettled the car and went a little bit wide out onto the curb there. Manages to hold on to it. I don't know if you noticed, that car was S-ing all over the place.
Oh, what's happening? Meerveld having a look at Cadil as well in the background.
Yeah, looks like he's trying to get this
Nowhere to
cut back. Just too much going on. 0.7 between Caracas and Rodriguez now.
Oh no, it's right. Okay,
It's all happening. As always, we're trying to watch 3 battles at once. Who is this? Shelabanov has actually managed to break away ever so slightly from Busek through Spoon. It'll be interesting to see if he can maintain that extra pace on the back straight. That with Cadil.
Well, I mean, let me tell you about start-finish straight, because Rodriguez is crossing the line with Caracas on his tail. There's about 5/10 between them now, but no mistaking the gap now.
Yeah, 0.526 between them, and Caracas is like I don't even know, like an inquisitive little Jack Russell, isn't he? He is all over the back of Rodriguez. He is going to be up and with him soon. I think by the end of this lap, we are going to be seeing some battles going on.
This race has been an absolute Caracas.
I'll give you that one. I'd imagine at the end of this race, Caracas will be shaking his maracas.
Oh,
I mean, it was a bit of just a dirty rubbish rhyme, really, wasn't it? I feel like I need a wash.
I need a wash after this race.
Yeah. 0.4 between them now. So Rodriguez is really going to be feeling the pressure. Less than 2 minutes. So I reckon they've probably only got this and one more lap in them. And Caracas is all over the back of them. So, I mean, I don't know. There's battles going on further back. Obviously, the battle for 6th place is hotting up as well. But we're going to keep an eye on these two, as this is the battle for the lead. And if Caracas keeps dominating races the way he is, I think he might end up being in Tier 1 next season. As he joined late in the season, and he is already putting in some amazing results.
Well, I think after qualifying and hitting a 1:58, which only 9 drivers from Tier 1 did last night in their qualifying. Granted, the conditions may have been slightly cooler or warmer, I'm not sure, but you know, he's put his card there, he's marked it, and next season we could be seeing a few of these guys in Tier 1.
I think it's quite possible. 0.3 between them now.
2/10 closer in the last lap. What difference does that make? Is it enough? He's getting such a toe. Less than 3/10 now.
So on board with Rodriguez, looking over his rear wing of that Aston Martin, and always so close.
Tim, this is the final lap.
And it is like it doesn't. Well, it's an hour, and it's come down to absolutely the final lap. Rodriguez will be doing absolutely everything he can. I imagine his adrenaline is pumping, his arms will be shaking. He'll probably barely be blinking at this point and just be desperately trying to keep it on the track. Oh, a little bit of a power slide there from Caracas coming up that final S. So the gap does open up a little bit, but it's not enough for Rodriguez to have a breather, because immediately under braking, Caracas back there with him. And there we go, the timer has run, so this is now the final run to the line.
Absolutely, Tim. And just for context, everyone who's watching, if you've tuned in late, these three started at the front and they've swapped positions. Jonathan Watts was leading early on with a fantastic dive into P1, turn 1. But these guys undercut in the pit strategy. Rodriguez got the advantage, and Caracas, those McLarens coming back strong. And he has such a chance now.
Can he do something here on this final run up the back straight? It's looking like the Aston's just managed to stretch away through Spoon and open up the gap again. I wonder if Rodriguez is just putting everything he has into it. Do they both hold it together? Yes, they do. So coming into the chicane, big flash of the lights. He's desperately looking up the inside, not quite able to though. And at this point, there we go. I think he's had to admit defeat on that one, but second place is still a gargantuan effort. Absolutely fantastic. And these two would be really pleased to get past Watts, who is just coming across the line now in third after he jumped the pair of them on the start straight. And Pichik coming across in fourth. Someone who we haven't watched much. He's had his own race the whole way through. Nogueira had his own race the whole time. And he just kept super clean and just kept putting in the laps. I'm trying to have a quick look. Shabalanov managed to hold off Busek. Kadil managed to hold off Mirveld. Steinhauser managed to hold off Fang. So lots of these close battles. But no one's managed to make any kind of massive move at the end. Having a little look at who else is on circuit. Who hasn't finished yet. Yaraboski. He's coming across the line now. Just in front of Favre. Currently running in 17th. These two are still pretty close. In fact, Favre might have a run up the outside here. But can he make a move to the line? He's got a better run. Oh, they're right next to each other. I don't know who crossed the line first there. Favre did him on the final pit straight. That was insane. Can't believe he managed to get that. Just having a little bit further back. Anyone else? We've got Crozen coming across the line in 21st. And who is our last running man on track? I think that is Jay Cowley. Yeah, I believe it is Jay Cowley. Yeah, Jay Cowley coming along now. Just coming into the final chicane. Casio chicane. Fair play to Jay Cowley. Obviously, he had to do his 30-second pit stop extra, so that really put him behind. But fair play for sticking it out and staying out here the whole time, because it can be a real kicker sometimes. If you're at the back of the field, you're not particularly close to everyone because of a penalty. It can be really hard to keep your spirits up and keep going. Oh, he had a massive crash then, right near the end. So I don't know whether he just decided it was a rubbish race, I'm going to bin it or not, but that probably won't be positive.
Just after you said, fair play for seeing it through.
Yeah, fair play for seeing it through, and then I think he just finally was like, oh, for God's sakes. Well, fantastic race. Rodriguez taking pole, Caracas second, and Jay Watts in third. So, started that way, finished that way. Brilliant. Actually, same with Pichik as well, isn't it? A fantastic little race from those guys. I mean, what
they
can you
served
say,
us up
really?
a real treat today, and you know what, it was so interesting to see the early pit stops, it seems so early. We were only 20, I think with 19 minutes into the hour-long race when we saw Pit Chick dive into the pits and really set off in motion the strategy play that we weren't prepared for, and it changed the entire scene of the race. But what a great race it was. We had fights all over the place, and one thing I'm going to remember is, was it Bogoroditsky round the outside of Favre, or was it Jarbowski? I think side by side, corner after corner.
Was oh my goodness, that would have been. Oh, because people have left the server, haven't they? So it's kind of hard to sometimes see who was who. Who was that? God, but that was the move of the day. I think that was the move of the race. That was insane. There was side by side through the S's. I think it was I'm sure it was Yarabowski, wasn't it?
Yeah, Yarabowski.
Or was it?
You're right.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I can't even remember at this point. It's a complete blur. So much went on. Just seeing if anyone is joining into the interview box. See if anyone wants to jump in with us. Just a quick update on a couple of guys that we lost. Who have we got here? Bastida, he had to leave for an emergency, so I do hope everything is all right. And Kevin Malone, I'm not sure who your in-race name was, saying that he had a lag issue, and sorry to whoever was behind him and got caught up in that. So that'll probably be who you saw earlier on in the chat in-game, saying that they had some issues. But a fantastic finish for our top three. I mean, and that's Caracas really showing what he's made of, and Rodriguez putting in an absolutely fantastic finish as well. Obviously coming out in pole, so it'll be interesting to see what that is going to do to the overall championship. And just seeing whereabouts Rodriguez is in the championship. He's down in 14th, but that's going to be a huge boost. So he'll be flying up the list. I'm saying some of the guys in front of him haven't done too well themselves this evening. Obviously, we had Whitburn finish behind him. He's ahead of him. Matt York, I don't think we saw at all this evening. Jonathan Watts, who's in 11th, obviously, he had a great finish up in 3rd. So I think a good race all round for most of the guys. I think everyone there is going to be pretty pleased with their efforts. Any closing thoughts before obviously the next big ACC race is going to be this weekend. Again, come and join us with Barcelona. I won't personally be there, but all the other guys are going to be there. Everyone. God, there's a massive list of us that are actually going to be doing the coverage. So I don't know if they know exactly what hours they're doing yet, but it'll be 9 hours of Barcelona. So get yourself ready for that. And then if you can't see that on the weekend, obviously back with Tier 1 on Mondays, and then us with Tier 2 on Tuesdays again. So that'll be round 7. Really getting through these races now, and luckily we're all back on track as well. After the connection issues earlier in the season, all the races are in the right order. So Monday and then us, it's the same circuit. So bit of consistency there.
And you'll love to see it. Tim, we've got a couple of things to do here. We have to mention the next race is at Monza, but it's not just at Monza. It's a 90-minute extended race.
Ooh.
Fueling is allowed, and it's 90% wet.
I'll be honest,
for those days.
I'm glad there's some variable weather at Monza, because it's not my favourite circuit. And I know that's like blasphemy, isn't it? Again, probably going to get yelled at in the chat for saying it, but it's not a circuit I really enjoy racing or watching. I don't know why. Just don't know why. I just don't feel the love for it. But no, it'd be good to watch, especially these guys. They always put on a very entertaining race. Plenty of places for people to make some absolutely outstanding overtakes like we've seen this evening. So right, I think we're
driver of the day.
Oh, driver of the day.
Sorry to cut you off for the exit.
No, it's fine. Oh God. I mean, the obvious one is going to be Caracas, because again, this is the 3rd week in a row where he's put in a really, really good effort. But I do feel like that's a little bit too obvious. Oh,
You're right. You're right to call out Caracas. Grandes Caracas' form lately has been red hot. He is our driver on fire lately. Really racking up big points. I think you're going to lean towards someone else, however, for today's race.
I'm tempted, very tempted to go with Rodriguez, just because he started on pole. He lost out straight away in turn 1 to Watts, but he didn't lose his cool. He just stayed clean and consistent the whole way through. And at the end, even when Caracas caught up at the back of him, he didn't go super defensive. He just kept doing what he'd been doing. He knew what to do. Just keep consistent. Don't slow yourself down. I think I'm going to go with Rodriguez. I know he's the pole man, so it might seem a bit of the obvious choice, but he did great.
And you know what? We're aligned. Thank goodness. Rodriguez, driver of the day for me. He just... As you say, it was a tough start from Jonathan Watts. Was an absolute bull off the line down into turn 1, and Rodriguez pulled it back, played the strategy well, held off an advancing really fast McLaren of Caracas near the end, and took his first win of this Tier 2 season. Well done.
It's a big bonus for him in that first win. It's going to be. Oh, Jonathan Watts, I've just noticed he's ready for an interview. Hang on, let's quickly get Jonathan Watts in before we go anywhere else. I do apologise. We were literally getting into the point of closing this down, and Jonathan Watts is in there. So we're going to drag him quickly in and see what he has to say, and we'll talk him through that turn 1 amazing overtake. So let's drag him in now. Watts, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Hello.
Hello.
What a start from you! That was some nail-biting stuff. That was splitting the pack and just absolutely driving to the front.
It was pretty spooky, I have to say. Yeah, I knew that the Macca and the Aston probably wouldn't be so good off the line, and all my car really had going for it. All race was talk, to be honest. So I tried to make the best of that off the start. I got the launch, and it was scary going through wide, but. Yeah, it worked out. Second phase of the race was a bit of a shame, but the start was definitely a highlight.
Was that just a fatigue towards the end of the race, or was there an issue with your setup, or just backing off for fuel purposes? Because we did notice you drop away from the leading two, but also Caracas was really sort of racked up his pace towards the end of the race, which obviously made the gap increase even more so. So do you reckon it was more of a you thing or a car thing?
I think, unfortunately, it was. This is not a driver's excuse, but I think it was a bit more of a car thing this time. The pace in sector 2 and 3 was really good. I think actually in quali had a purple sector 2, so that was really good. But sector 1, the car's just a brick, so trying to get it through the S's was really difficult. And there were times where I was leading where I almost had a second gap going into the final chicane, and by the time I got to the end of sector 1, it was 0.2. So it was really difficult. And on the heavier fuel, the tyre deg was really suffering, particularly on the fronts, and then the rear started to really let go at the end. So I didn't anticipate the undercut being as powerful as it was, because I almost got overtaken by Pitchik as well when it came out. But yeah, it was a shame, because at nearer the end of the race, I'm not sure if I'm guessing because of the undercut, the Aston up front, I think was struggling a bit, because I ended up actually on similar sort of pace for a few laps near the end. But yeah, ultimately just the tyre deg on the Merc made it almost impossible to sort of to keep with those guys in the second phase of the race. And yeah, the first phase was just a case of basically trying to be a moving chicane and get them on the straights, and just not making mistakes in the first half of the lap elsewhere. So it was a tough one, but it was a lot of fun at the same time.
Well, I mean, your plan worked perfectly well. I mean, podium is still podium. I mean, because you qualified up into third. I mean, because I think you were in 17th, and then at the last minute, you crossed the line and you're straight up into third, and it was totally out the blue, because the top sort of 5 had stayed pretty consistent all the way through qualifying up to that point, and you immediately stuck your boot in there and were saying, nope, I want one of these podium spots. So to hold on to it all the way to the end, especially, say, Tier 2 is just, the level of racing here is absolutely fantastic. So even though obviously you say towards the end of the race you were a little bit disappointed, I think third place overall is absolutely fantastic, and definitely not something to be disappointed with. There's a big old pat on the back, and a pint, I think, is probably in need.
Thank you very much. Yeah, absolutely. To be honest, I hadn't done a huge amount of prep for this race, and I was really just sort of aiming for a top 10, I thought, because I've had a couple of shockers. Nürburgring was just awful, driving on wet tyres out of a principle for I think about 70 minutes. then 2 punctures on the final lap. So that, that was fun. And then Zandvoort coming over the blind crest on the first lap to find a Ferrari parked in the middle of the track and losing the whole front half of my car. So the last 2 races of not being the best, and it's a shame because Snetterton was a really good one, and that was a close fight in the top 3 again. So I was hoping just to bank in some decent points. So to get P3 in quali was a surprise to me, as it was by the sounds of it to all of you, and then to be able to hold on to that to the end was way in excess of my expectation for coming into it. So I think hopefully recuperated a good amount of points in the championship to bump myself up a bit, and looking forward to the last few races of the season.
Fantastic. Are you going to be taking part in any of the endurance championship races?
Unfortunately, I don't think so. It's I've got quite a lot of other commitments and things at the moment, so squeezing in this once a week is a tough enough task. So maybe at some point in the future, it'd be fun to take part in some of those. But for now, it's just going to be this championship. So concentration on this one to the end, and hopefully try to get a good couple of results in the last few races and close in towards the top.
Yeah, I'm sure you can get sort of just outside the top 10 previous to this race. So I'm saying you're definitely in the top 10 now. So happy days. Right, we are going to have to call it a day. Thank you ever so much for joining us. And we're just going to pop you back into the ready for interview box. And we're going to have to call it a night. Cool. All right, let's pop him there. Cardinal, we'll say goodnight again. So we both agreed. Driver of the day was Rodriguez. What a great effort for him as well. Caracas, once again proving that he is a force of nature to be reckoned with. I think
Tim, you're absolutely right.
I thought I'd lost you for a moment. I panicked.
Still here, I'm afraid. I couldn't have summed it up any better than yourself. I loved every minute of that, and I can't believe it's over. Oh, okay. Roll on the next race. These guys are competitive.
Yeah.
And
they really are, aren't they? They're all a little bit good and a little bit close. Right. Hopefully everyone tunes in over the weekend, obviously, to watch the Endurance Championship opener. And if not, hopefully you'll be back with us again on Tuesday. Thank you ever so much, guys. And we're going to call it a night now.